Yo, welcome to another episode of the M.I.C.S podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt. We have
Maya. Are you
Jeremiah.
sure you're Matt? What was that voice?
That's my normal voice. The people don't know, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
This is my normal voice.
I didn't know that. All right,
You know
I'm
what I'm
ready
saying?
for
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
I'm ready.
But today we gonna talk about friendships. You know, different types of friendships. You know, you had some when you was kids, now you adults, you know, when you was a teenager, you know. Different types of friendships. That's what this podcast episode gonna be about. So I'm gonna throw it to Jeremiah.
Oh, okay.
You know, see what he got. You know what I mean? Know what I mean?
Friendships. Well, unlike you,
Yeah.
I have friends, so I can
true.
really talk about this better. But I was young. I think when you're young, your friends all. I don't know if you would believe this or accept this or whatever, but it's like they're your whole world. You know, when you're young.
Okay.
The younger you are, I feel like friends is like your whole world, and then it's just
Your whole
it just
world is
changes.
like, what do you mean?
like you do everything with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when friendships end, it's dramatic. I'm talking about like young. Like it hurts. Because like you do everything with them all the time. They might spend the night all the time. I mean, you might go to the same school with them. Like you just, you see them. It's just they just there everywhere, and y'all do everything. Only y'all learning at the same time together. So I just feel like when you're younger, the value is higher. Probably the highest. And I think it's like innate. Like you don't even really recognize because you're so young. You just kind of like going through the motions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been my experience. I don't know about you.
No, chill. When I was a kid, friendships for me, I didn't really make friends for real that much when I was a kid. Kind of like how I am as an adult.
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
You will imagine.
So shocking.
It's true. It's I have a big family. I have 2 older brothers and a little brother, but he's not included. And he was so far down. I ain't make friends through him. But most of my friends I made through my other siblings. They bring people home. We went to the same school. So most of our friends, they meet my 2 older brothers and they're hanging out, and then I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they might have a little brother and they trying to get rid of me or something. And then they're like, hey, go play with him. And then I turn around and they're gone. And I'm stuck with and now I have a friend. So,
yeah, I did hear that you had some friends sprinkled in there. I was like shocked to hear about that.
Yeah.
Matt had some friends? Oh.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, like we have this one family, I'm gonna shout them out, the Fillmores, shout out to my homies, my second family, you know what I mean? The Fillmores in South Carolina, Florence, Francis, Dahu, yo,
Okay, all right.
Kenny,
Okay,
Keith. Those were they had a big family too. We was we kind of met in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably the longest friendship I guess we've had. Like we still keep in contact from time to time. And we known them since I was like about 6 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. But they had a big family, and my brothers, were friends with him. And then, we just kind of throughout, they going to school with us. They lived down the street, well, a little bit further down the street, and we just became friends, we were friends, and I would say like I don't know about it being your world, but I do feel like friendships were like, it's kind of like the thing that you did, especially in the 90s. Like it was like you went out somewhere, everywhere you went, you would try to bring them with you. Cause I think it's different now. I don't think friendships are made the same. I don't think. But everywhere you wanted to go, they introduce you to stuff that you ain't know, so everything that you did and stuff you was interested in, they were somewhat interested in, or they kind of got you into stuff that they was interested in. It was just organic, and it was kind of like it wasn't forced. It wasn't no schedule made for friendships back then. It was just like, hey, what are you doing? Or they just knock on your door. It wasn't like they were, how we do as adults. We kind of make a schedule. Hey, I'm gonna come over your house tomorrow. No, you just get a knock on the door. Hey, Mrs. Can Johnny come out?
Yeah.
No, he's doing this or whatever, or they just don't answer at all, It wasn't like you get a phone call or a text or something like that, and then you show up. It's like you just got to knock on the door, or you might be already outside and they ride by your house. Hey, we're going to da 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 da. And then you're like, oh, can I come? Yeah, let's go. And then hop on your bike.
I think it's interesting because I didn't mean to cut you off or whatever, but I just want to talk about that one little thing that you mentioned. People just popping up at your house. That's just something that it can't be like. That's something that I don't know. Like you have space for when you're young.
Mm-hmm. As an adult,
no,
somebody randomly just
like people don't like. Even my friends listen to this. Don't just show up at my house. Like I need a call, a text, or something. I need a grace period. I need like now it's like, and I feel like the older you get, the more time you need. And the more advanced notice. But but like that to me that just sounds so foreign and crazy. Cause like I used to like just come into your house. I ain't even knock. I would just walk all the way in. Like I don't know if anybody dressed. I just because for some strange reason, even though when I met y'all, we was in the hood. Yeah, y'all door always be unlocked. It was just unlocked. I would just come in and just walk around. Might cut the TV on, just come in.
Sit there. Somebody come down and say, "Oh, when'd you get here?"
Exactly. Nobody really had no extreme reaction. Everybody actually, I always seemed happy then when I would call. Oh, it's your mom. Like it was never like who just let you in? How you just go walk in the house? Yeah. It was just everybody was just like, "What's up?"
And we were adults basically.
Yeah, we were young adults and still,
17, 18.
Yeah, I was still, I just came on in, I can't imagine nobody doing that to my house now.
No,
like,
no.
Like, yeah.
Those sitcoms back in the day where they used to have like, people other than when Jeffrey would escort the person in or whatever like that on Fresh Prince. Martin, Cole, and Tommy and them ain't knock. They just walk right in,
That's
and the Urkel, Steve just.
Yeah, he definitely just walked on in.
Steve lived there basically. He just opened the door, full house, only time that someone knocked or something would be like a real person that's a guest of the show that you don't never see.
Exactly.
Laura's boyfriend or some, Yeah, then they got a knock, but for everybody else it was like, they just walked in. Weasel and Waldo and everybody else just walked in on family. I mean, it's a different time. I think that, you got Amazon porch pirates, people be stealing off people's porches and stuff. And then, the media makes everything kind of like hyper scaled. It's like, close your doors and lock your kids in the closet because there's people outside looking to steal them, or whatever it is, So people ain't, you can't do it. People are just so scared all the time. I mean, I lock my door too. I ain't. But I mean, it's just that it's just not the same as like I said, in the 90s. I think it really comes from an older generation, not even the 90s, because we experience it because our parents are from an older generation. We always kind of say the 90s because we were born in the 90s, but the parents that facilitated our freedom was an older generation. That's really what allowed us 90s kids to kind of run around how we were, because the parents were kind of like from a time where they would be riding their bikes in the neighborhood and the neighbors were looking out for the kids. So they were more relaxed with that. And so they facilitated our freedom into making friends and stuff like that. So we give a lot of credit to the parents, our parents, the millennial parents that gave us the freedom. And it's kind of like I'm throwing a jab at our generation with how we raise our kids now, because we'd be like, no, you can't go to the store without
supervision.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But and I think it's because when we was out there, we was like, yo, our parents shouldn't have let us go out here like this. We were doing some stuff, so we know the dangers of being out there without supervision, but back to being friends back in the day, it was just it was organic, you, and even like through like I said, with our friendship with the Fillmores and them, they would meet friends, and then they bring people from there when they was at school, and they made this friend, and then we become friends through them. You know what I'm saying? And and it's just it was an organic situation. When we stopped being friends, I mean, I don't know if it was life shattering. I mean, it was kind of if it's abrupt, which I think as a kid you get a lot of those friendships is abruptly ends. Because you'll be going to school, and you know how the new school year would come in, and they'd be like, this person moved, like the parents just moved. So they're not coming back to your school. And they might have just went to another city. It's not like they moved out of state, but when we're kids, it's like they moved to another planet or something.
Yeah, true.
Because we never see those.
They're changing neighborhoods.
Yeah, we never see those people again. You know what I'm saying? Like for us, we moved to different states, so it's a little bit different for us. But when
more extreme,
more extreme. We really couldn't. I mean, we ran back into the Fillmores, like Dahu.
We became grown, right?
We became grown, but somehow we ran into him. He was in military and stuff, so we ran back into him. But that's rare because the United States, even though it's not one of the biggest countries, it's huge. Even just the states, to define a friend that you knew from childhood just randomly.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of I think it was fate. I don't know, but either way,
the thing that made things different too was like these social media platforms. Because I remember like it kind of was created in our time frame where it's like we were able to kind of like look for people that we used to be cool with to see what they're doing now, and then formulate bonds again, the people that we kind of lost contact with. Because with me, I had a different situation where I just moved to another neighborhood, just like same thing, I would never see these people again. Because like now we got cars or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, like I think social media, it's crazy because I think initially it started off so like useful, especially because like Facebook was my first introduction. Like I know it was other stuff but a little before Facebook, like M.I.C.S or whatever. Yeah. But I never really got MySpace. I don't even know what that is. I never seen how it looked.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, Facebook was my first kind of introduction to like social media, and like I said, initially it was just so crazy and so cool to see what people are doing and people you lost contact with, and then it's like be surprised because they like, oh, they got kids now, or they married, or they traveled, they accomplished some of the things we talked about when we were younger. Yeah. There's this one lady who I was cool with for a very long time, which is another part, school, like, I know we can talk about like co-workers being friends, whatever, but I would say like random people from school that you only kind of like see in school. It was one lady, I'll shout her name out. Her name was Adrian. She was saying names. And, she was somebody like we went to several schools together, and she was like one of those people that always took school serious, and I did too. So a lot of times we would have like some of the class, we always would partner up with like all of our projects and homework and things like that, because it's like we both took school serious, but she took it more serious than I did. And she had so many aspirations, and then like it was a point where we kind of like lost contact, because it's like I'm kind of sporadic when I go to social media these days, so I don't really know everything that's going on with her. But so I kind of lost contact with her when we kind of graduated high school. I saw her again because I started working at a college, and she went to that same college. So that's when I saw her again, which I was excited about. Like, okay, she got to college or whatever. And now, like, I mean, her life seems great, like on social media. Like, she's just doing all the things that she wanted to do. Like, she got her degree, she's working in her field, she's have other like side hustles. She bought her ultimate car that she wanted. She has a really nice house. She's like traveling all the time. Not to be looking at her, just be so proud, just like, yes, so yeah. It's weird because it's like we were friends, but like school friends. It was kind of weird. Like she was just somebody I was like friends with at school because you know I didn't really see her outside of that. So it's random.
Yeah, and then it's like when you was friends back then. I think the difference is also it's just, you know, when you made those friends, it's no contract. You know, when you make friends as a kid, there's no contract. There's no contract as an adult either. But I think the things for you to be friends was just, you know, be in the same places, you know, be interested in the same stuff. But I don't even think we even thought about that neither. It was just like we did that stuff, and then, you know, and it was like you would just kind of, your mind is kind of open to different things. When you're as an adult, it changes. Your mind's kind of locked in on certain things. I'm not going over there. I'm not doing this type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what you would have say. Like, we're friends. Like, you're more sociable than me, but if you was like, hey, I'm going to this thing with a bunch of people, I'm not going there. You know what I'm saying? That I'm not. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, because and the crazy thing is, because I went to those things, but I'm not. Yeah, I mean, then also it's like I wouldn't even mind if I did go, but the people don't respect you. You know what I'm saying? They don't respect people with my type of personality. Like, you'll be just sitting in the corner and they're like, hey, come on. And if
you try to force you to dance.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do it now, you're the bad person. Like, oh, just get he didn't take like I'm I mean, like, well, you know, I'm doing my own business. You're trying to drag me out of my, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was fine. But I think that's the thing for other people. It's like they don't, you know, if you don't fit the little thing that they like, then it's like, oh, you're weird or something like that. But, you know, I'm enjoying myself too. I'm not even, it's like, you know, some people can't fathom that someone can be okay with not interacting with people. Like, that's like foreign. Like, oh my goodness, you must be bored over there. You must be depressed. No, I'm enjoying myself watching you people act crazy out there on the floor or do whatever. I'm fine. This is actually entertaining to me, watching y'all do whatever y'all are doing. But that's why I'm locked in, because it's like, you know, people don't respect people that have that type of personality. Like, the outside people, they don't respect the inside people. And so for friendships, it's kind of like, you know, when you're that person, it's a little bit different. I mean, I wasn't always like that as a kid. Kids, you want to go outside and play and stuff like that. But I didn't really care to be in crowds of people or to make tons of friends. If it organically happened, if people just so happen to be where I'm at and we're playing tag and then you're just there, great. But I'm not seeking people out to recruit. I'm not recruiting people. I'm not, hey, you want to be my friend? I've never been that guy.
Well, I don't know. Like, I always joke about being like bipolar. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I think the thing that we connected on is that I feel like we do have some similarities, but it's like it's another switch that I could just turn on and that could be like completely different. And because I'm kind of like, I would say, well, you never say this about yourself, but I never even asked. But I would say that I'm kind of a shy person, but one thing I do like about myself, I don't like everything, but one thing I do like about myself is that I for the most part, I don't allow that to kind of dictate how my life is ran. So there's still things that, even though I'm a little timid or shy to do, like even this, like I think I don't think I would, you know, just my personality, I don't think I would do something like this, like a podcast or anything that is like, especially like so open, people can have like their opinions and feelings, like you're just kind of out there. And I think that's something that's not my norm. It's something that I would be normally fearful of. But I was willing to, you know, because you presented it to me or whatever, the podcast or so, I was willing to try it, even though like I was nervous about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you have to kind of make it interesting, got to do something. So I do like the fact that, you know, you're more moldable when you're younger, when you have friends, because it's like your friends can kind of get you to do almost anything when you're younger versus now. I can imagine, you know, doing too much, at this age with if a friend introduced something, versus then it's like, oh, let's just go play at the volcano. Sure, it's a kid. Like, when you're a kid, it's like, sure, it's fine.
Play the volcano.
You would if you had a volcano down the street. You as a kid, whatever. Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I think that's another thing, like because I'm not shy. I know a lot of people think they're like, oh, he's shy. I'm not shy at all. I'm reserved. I just don't like everybody. I don't like to do everything that everybody likes to do. So it's the difference between, I think people sometimes get that mixed up, like, oh, you must be shy. No, I just don't care to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not a public speaker neither. I'm not trying to, get in front of everybody, and that's not shy. That's just like, no, who wants to get in front of a crowd of people? You got like famous people that like have stage fright, but they somehow go out on stage and turn it on and then get back to like, reserved or whatever like that. The people, a lot of people confuse shyness with being just reserved, but I would say I'm more of that. But I've never been a person that was like in a situation where I was moldable as a kid. I guess you could say I'm stubborn. I'm still stubborn to this day, but it's like yeah, well, I'm still stubborn to this day. But I think it's always considered negative when someone's stubborn, but I think it's a positive just because you're not really subject to like peer pressure and things like that.
I mean, I think it's only irritating to the people that want you to do it.
Yeah, they want you to
do
of course. And then it's like peer pressure is huge when you're a kid. And a lot of times when you have friends and they kind of tell you, hey, let's do this, and then they try to pick on you because you don't want to do it or something, and you're scared or whatever. It's like, yeah, that'd be the thing that kind of, no, I'm not, and then you try to do it, and then
prove it,
you get in trouble or something like that. Like me being stubborn somewhat kind of made that not really that big of a situation for me as much. I just didn't really want to do everything that everybody wanted to do. But with friends, I'm just a different type of person with friends. Like friends, like even with us being friends, you were friends with my brothers before, and then you would come over and I would just be there.
Yeah, you didn't want to be my friend.
It wasn't I didn't want to be your friend. I don't really want to be nobody's friend.
Yeah, no,
but it's organic. It's just but it's just organically, if it happens, it's whatever. But I'm not, like I said, I've never been the person walking, hey, would you want to be my friend? I'm not that guy. I'm never going to be that guy. Never going to be that guy. And the crazy,
I don't even know how we became friends because you didn't make it easy.
That's what I'm saying.
You didn't make it easy.
Like my biggest friends in the world is my siblings. They're my biggest friend. I've been with them my entire life. We just, we moved around a lot, so it wasn't like when we did somewhat make friends, we would move. Then we make friends, then we move again. It's like, we just move so much. It was kind of like, why are we making friends if we're just gonna keep moving? It's like, I'm not making any more of these friends, but like how we became friends was just, you would come over and then, hanging out with my brothers, and then I'd be in a room, we're already joking around, playing a game or something, having a conversation, and I'm chiming in, and you might chime in, and maybe you ask a question and I answer it, and we just organically start having a conversation with everybody. Maybe something like that. Or
if I could choose where I think the tide had turned, it probably was when we all went to King's Dominion. Because I think
I didn't do anything at King's Dominion.
I know, but I feel like we had because that was when we talked like the most.
I don't remember talking that much.
Yeah, we had conversation. Cause we was like,
oh, it was split into.
We were talking about your brothers.
Yeah.
Because everybody was acting crazy.
Yeah.
So we was like, hey, look at them.
yeah, possibly.
Doing the most.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's what we kind of like just started talking because it was like everybody was doing something
breaking
crazy.
off into little packs or whatever. Hey, I'm over here with this person. Yeah, it could have been that.
Yeah.
I don't recall. Like I said, it was just like over time. It wasn't just like, hey, we just became friends, and we were same age, so it was also that too.
Exactly the same age.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a month or two apart.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah, we were in July.
Yeah, in July.
Yeah, man, in May. So, yeah.
But yeah, no, but that's normally how that happens for me anyway. I mean, it's a different perspective, I guess. But as adults, being friends is work, man. It's a lot of work involved because it's just everybody, especially when you're transitioning from being a kid, I guess what you consider being a kid. Depends on when you first start working.
Mhm.
So if you like, I start working at 15, but when you start working, it changes everything because now you almost kind of like became an adult. You have to now separate friendship. Now you got to schedule the stuff. It becomes, now you got to go to work. So you can't always hang out. You can't always be available to do the things you once did when you was a kid. You had all this time. Your parents paid all the bills. They took care of everything. And all you could do is like go to school, obviously, but your friends are there sometimes. And then you would come home and then you know, cartoons, and your friends might even come over and watch the cartoons with you and stuff like that. And then you get on your bikes and ride to each other's house, go to the park, do just all day to do nothing, especially during the summertime. It was just all you had to do was play with your friends all summer long. That was it. You know, when you become an adult, there's no summer break. You're at work.
Unless you're a teacher.
Yeah. And even then, they got to get jobs somewhere in between, you know, not having a job during the summer. So it's kind of like that scenario where you have, as a kid, it's so fun and great because you have none of the stresses of an adulthood. You don't have to worry about bills and stuff like that. You don't have to go to work worrying about keeping your job, being on time and all that stuff for your job, the stresses of life and things like that. You don't have any kids. Hopefully, you know. And so when you're transitioning from being a kid and enjoying life, and then now you're outside your parents' house, now you got responsibilities, and then you got work, and you still might have friendships, but it's kind of hard because now when do you get to see your friends, you know, because your schedules might be different, you know, like he works during the night, you work during the day. When are y'all ever going to hang out again, you know? The stuff that you used to do, like playing in the park, that's not a thing anymore. Going over each other's house to play the game and stuff like that, that doesn't happen anymore. And somewhat, this is my conspiracy hat thing I'm putting on right now. But, you know, the system wants you to be like this.
Okay.
I'm speaking from my perspective, right? Because I remember when I was a kid, this is Nintendo 64, Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all these consoles, PlayStation. They used to embrace people all getting together in front of a TV and here, you get the controller, we all play together. And then what happened is then they started making, oh, you want to play multiplayer? You can only play multiplayer online. Now you could play multiplayer online inside the same house, but how crazy is that? You know, like, you know, you're right there and I'm right here and we're playing online together on two different TVs, two different consoles, you know, it's like, and then you get comfortable as an adult because you just came back from work. Like, I got to drive over there. I got, you know, so now you're like, oh, I'll just play with you online, man. Get on. And so what type of friendships is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you before you was in the house, y'all are joking around, you know, in between while this guy's turn is your turn. And we both waiting on our turn to go play. We over there joking around, playing Uno, who knows what, you know, the being inside each other's houses and joking around, that stuff was like, nope, you over there and you over there. And that also happens with the cell phones and stuff. People feel so entitled to your time. If you got a cell phone, we see back in the day, in the 90s, I'm speaking to the kids that don't know nothing about this, all right? This is back in the 90s. We had no cell phones, right? If a person called your house and you didn't pick up, they was like, oh, he must not be home. I'll wait a couple hours. They ain't panicked. They was just like, oh, he might be at the store or whatever. They accepted that. They accepted that you might be busy, and they just like, okay. If you text or call a person now and you got a cell phone, he know he got my call. I know he got my phone call.
Especially now, because like sometimes it's like it'll tell you when somebody
read
the
the text. Oh, he left me on red. You know? Yeah, left me on red. People get mad now because you like, I know you read my text. It says right here that you read it. It's like you can't do that nowadays. You know, people.
Bubbles or whatever.
Yeah,
like somebody like looking at it, and then they just like the bubbles
typing or something.
They don't say nothing.
They typing and then they just stop. It's like and this is causing a rift between people. Because people get mad. People like, no, I needed you and you did it. Before you might even been at home when the phone was ringing and people just accept, okay, he might not be home.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, you text a person, they don't respond back. And this is just friendship. I ain't even talking about no relationship. This is just friendship. You text your friend and you might be in distress or something like that, or someone called you and you don't answer. Because cell phones go everywhere that person goes.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. Unless you got it to where it goes straight to voicemail, people be like, oh, his phone must be dead. But if you got it and it rings all the way to, like, rings several times, then goes, we know that your phone's charged. And then especially, like I said, if you're texting somebody and they got the check mark showing like, oh, he looked at your message or your friend, whatever, then yeah, people might be upset. And this is causing problems. This is causing rifts between friends.
But I don't think,
you know what I mean? This is causing friends to break up. You know what I mean?
I feel like,
and this is the the bigger
talking.
companies. You know, I was
you
still
were passionate about it
finishing what I
you were
was
so
saying.
passionate. You were talking for you just, ooh, goodness, you about to start crying. Like you just. Now I was just gonna just say like, and this is like a real small thing that this could be like a whole nother podcast episode, but I don't really feel like people know how to. I feel like technology has made people, not know how to be human anymore. So that's it. And I think that's a whole nother topic, but
they making people human anymore.
Yeah, because it's like the things that used to be like organic and natural and innocent. Now it's like it's changed, and technology, like you said, has made it weird to it makes you too accessible. It makes people not know how to communicate in person to another person. Like people get so like they get real bold online and they bully people and stuff like that. Things they would not say to somebody's face.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just really has changed people, and in my opinion, not for the best. I feel like technology could always be a plus in the evolution of people. But as far as like, that human contact, person to person, I feel like technology has made things strange. People are not like eating dinners together as a family. And if they are, everybody's on the phone. There have been times where I've been in the same house as my wife and I'm texting her in the house. Like, well, that's because I don't feel like screaming and, we have the house, So, like, I'm not going all the way upstairs to ask her this question. And I don't like to scream.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like it's just technology just really, just made people just weird and don't really know how to interact with individuals. And it's kind of affected us emotionally because, like, I would get pissed off when I know that somebody read my message and they don't respond. They choose not to respond, or they respond. But but I think my issue is something else. Like, because like I'm really big on keeping it even, and I feel like sometimes when it comes to me with certain friends now, or even like actually my whole life, I would say like I feel like they always wanted me to kind of respond like this when they need me, and then it's like if I happen to need something or request something, it's like, oh, I'm on pause.
Yeah.
So I think that part kind of gets me a little bit personally, but I don't think I would be worried about that had technology haven't increased. Because as you mentioned, like if I called somebody back in the day, like on a landline, if they didn't answer, I wouldn't think the worst. I wouldn't think I was being like ignored or whatever all the negative thoughts you would come into your mind now.
Yeah,
it was just like they just they're not home or somebody else is on the phone, probably their mother, because back in the day mothers would be on the phone all day long talking to everybody, so the phone would be occupied.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't even think that they like.
Yeah, they're ignoring you. Or
yeah. But now it's like it's just seemed like an attack personally because like we're so accessible.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I think when it comes to that, I think people just need to program their mind. You need to program their mind to be accepting. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You need to, when someone texts you and they don't respond immediately.
Like you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we just need to start to accept, man. Because I think for real, I do agree with what you're saying. Like, people can say what they got to say online and stuff. Mm-hmm. And this does route back to being, the friendship thing.
Mm-hmm.
When people say, because I think it's that you truly get to hear people's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can weed these people out a lot faster, I guess, if that's what you're trying to figure out. Because I think people want their ears to be tickled. So that's mostly in front of people. When people are face to face with somebody, it's harder to be honest with somebody because they don't want to get the reaction, a negative reaction or whatever it is.
But
so
time frame, I feel like people were more honest because like the society wasn't as
no.
I can't think of the best word, but I would say as sensitive as they are now. Like I feel like if you were ugly, you ugly. If something was wrong, if your grades ain't good, they call you all kinds of dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
Like now it's like everybody's like skating on ice.
No, I mean, I think it's the same. I just think it's that it's I think it's the same. I think it's the same. I think it's that it's more police though. But I do feel like people still say that stuff to people's face. I think it's just more police.
The part I said is it's just change. It's like since it's police, people may choose not to say it as much. I feel like because now it's like you think about the repercussions of it all. I feel like it wasn't as many repercussions.
I'm saying, yeah.
I can't get the words out. As it was. No, as now,
I mean,
before it's like you just say whatever and everybody be like, "Ooh, it's the worst you're gonna get," and they like that. They fed, they fed that.
But that's still kind of like, I mean, you still gonna get that reaction. People still do it.
I'm telling you, like I get because like because you know me and like back in the day, me, I was cutthroat, because my family cutthroat, and so but I can't behave the same as I used to without like harsh judgment and criticism.
Yeah, I was trying to
become the enemy, So
yeah, I was trying to finish what I was saying was like as kids, as adults, obviously everything you do it's on you as an adult. Mm-hmm. But as kids, I think kids still bully face to face. Now it's worse because when you go home, you think the bullying stops. You go online and it keeps going. That's a little bit different. The bullying keeps going online. So people in school still, joke each other. You're fat, you're ugly, all this other stuff. They still do that stuff when you're a kid. But it used to stop when you went home. It don't do that now because people are on social media. But I think that part is a scenario where you have to deprogram your children and stuff to be off of social media. Shouldn't even be on social media to begin with, but not be on social media. Because we put so much of our information and stuff online. Hey, I went to the store today. I did this. Like, why are you telling everybody your stuff? Mm-hmm. People tell everything on social media, and I know people do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying is that when the criticism comes after that, you can't be mad at what people are saying because you put that stuff out there. You put pictures up there. You put your life and your business out there. People are going to have the opinion about everything that you post. Not everybody. In order to speak, you're risking the possibility of offending somebody because not everybody agrees with your ideas and what you are saying. So that is a thing that people should just always be mindful of. Is that anything, it could be innocent. People are going to take offense to it. But I do feel like with the friendship aspect of it, it's like with friendships nowadays, being honest. I mean, like I said, texting somebody and they're not responding is a lot more pressure. I do feel like on friendships now versus back in the day. Like you said, if you were my friend back in the day, and you called my house, you might be more accepting that if I didn't pick the phone call up. If you called and you can see and have a cell phone and your phone's always charged up and you always you're home all the time, you don't go anywhere, then that becomes a scenario where I could have got the call and now it's stuff that's building up in your mind that, hey, I'm ignoring you scenario like that.
I guess it makes it worse too because like there's people with like the Apple Watches and
They got your location and stuff.
And not just that, but you know, especially when somebody's like ignoring your text message or call now, because like you're so accessible. Because now it's like people have like the Meta glasses, the Apple Watch, and they still for some reason miss calls. So it's like it just seems so personalized. Like, wow.
I'm honest though. I'm always honest though. I always tell people I'm not a phone person at all. Even in the 90s, I'm not. I was never a person that like sitting on the phone just waiting for on the phone with friends and people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, even to this day, like if someone talked to me today, I'll be like, I'm not a phone person.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call me, text me. And even with text, I'm still might take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying is that I'm not a phone person. It's not part of my nature to be like waiting by a phone, hoping someone bothers me, because that's basically what you're doing. I'm just sitting at home. I might be doing something I enjoy, and if someone calls, and this is the other thing. I can't speak for all men, but I think this is a fact. Men are terrible multitaskers.
Interesting. Okay.
If I'm on the phone, I can't do anything else. I can't clean. I can't do nothing. I'm just sitting on the phone. I can't pay attention to TV program that's on TV. I can't do nothing. For me, anyway, like if I'm on the phone, I'm just on the phone. That means I can't do any of the stuff I want to do.
I know why though. I think it depends. Like if you're like a person who, I think it depends because like I think that when you are talking to someone, you actually pay attention. But I think it's hard to pay attention and and multitask. So I think there's some fake people who just be on the phone, like, yeah, okay, all right, and they're doing anything else, but they're not paying attention. Mm-hmm. So, because I'm kind of one of those people that I could do 100 million things, but
yeah, that's what I can't speak for everybody. But
if you ask me a question,
yeah,
I'll be like, so how do you feel about it? I'm like, oh, because we got to say something like vague, like, yeah, I think it's real interesting. I really got to think about it a little bit longer because it's just so deep. Whatever you were saying, I mean, what you were saying,
whatever you were saying.
I'll get back with you on that.
Yeah, no, I can't multitask. So, and then like I don't know, depending on conversation, because I always say this, like, and this I think this has changed probably since I've been an adult. Like, as a friend, I have no friends currently that I can talk to about certain parts of my life. It's just a wall that's cut off. I can't have and not to say I haven't tried to have conversation. It's just impossible. Like most of your friends, they like social media, and I mean not social media. They like what is it? Basically everything else: football, basketball, TV, movie, all this other stuff. And then there's this part that you like that none of the people in your life like.
The Zodiac type stuff?
No, I definitely am not a Zodiac person at all. And that's what I want to talk about. I'm just saying, I can definitely do like I do somewhat try to I do.
Because I'm talking about the killer.
What?
Zodiac.
Well, you got like I'm a secret on the no.
Life,
I don't have.
Can't talk to nobody about the secret life I got. Throwing people in the trunk.
No, don't talk to me about just that. Like because most people talk about pop culture. I like, oh, you seen the TV program, you seen this, you seen that, basketball, football, music, and they be like, I can do that, I can talk about that stuff, but I'm just like I'm like my mom, probably it's my mom's fault. She liked like National Geographics and nature and history and science and like intellectual type stuff. There's stuff like that, like finance stuff. Like I got some people I can talk to about it, but they don't take me too serious about it. But there's like that wall of stuff that nobody ever brings that stuff up. No one's really interested in it. So there's a part where I'm like, okay, I could talk to y'all, and then you get kind of like, okay, now I need to stimulate my mind with this other stuff, but there's no one else to talk about that stuff with. And I'm not trying to make any other friends. So I know somebody might be like, hey, why don't you go and join a group? I'm not doing that. I'm just saying like the organic friends that I already have and the people I have in my life, there's nobody that I have for that. And I'm not trying to seek out people to have that with. It's just that, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that have other stuff. Like you might have things that you like, hey, nobody I'm cool with likes this type of thing or whatever it is, And I think everybody kind of has that with friendships. Is like you have friends that have like all these different personalities and stuff like that. So
The only thing I feel, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. The only thing I feel that, well, not the only thing. The thing that I feel like I value the most is that I don't feel like people are honest, and that, as an adult, I feel like when you're kids and have friends, then I feel like it's more honest conversations, more honest feelings, even if it's something that's embarrassing. It's not as embarrassing when you're a kid, but when you become adult, people are like shell of a person. Like they're not who they actually are, and that's kind of like how they present. They get used to just being somebody else to appease this person, be that in this situation, that situation, whatever. And so people wear so many different hats and personalities that you don't really know who this actual person is. And then people don't admit when they're wrong. They don't take any type of accountability sometimes. So it's really hard. So that's, to me, is the part that really bothers me, because like I would like to think I have like a high EQ, so I really feel like I figure people out really quickly, and sometimes people won't admit to some of the stuff that is facts about themselves, and so that makes me feel like I really can't really get too close with people, because they liars. It's kind of like what the one thing I took from like House, that because it was like everybody lies, and the doctor show, and when he said that, I was like, oh, I definitely agree. Like I just feel like people are just like trained liars, and I think as time progresses, I feel like we're just becoming more and more liars, and I just hope they don't like trickle down to me. I feel like one thing I would do is I'll leave things out, because I do feel like, and people are, that's lying by omission. And I feel like that's a myth, unless you're in court. But I think in life you can pick and choose what part of a story that you want to tell somebody, because there's certain stuff in the story. Like, say for example, I went somewhere, like I went out of town. I took you out of town with me, and I had like these crazy experiences while we were out of town, and I really just want to focus in on what happened to me, and so my story, even though you were there, I might strategically leave you out, because I'm not trying to tell your business to tell my story, because there's a reason why I'm telling my story. I'm not trying to bring this other person's business up, because you might like not like know people where you at, what I'm saying, like people that know you were there and stuff like that, So I think about stuff like that. So I just feel like when it comes to people like you're lying by omission, I don't think that's across the board wrong. Unless you're in court, or unless you're like lying to your mate or whatever. Like, she's like, where was you at Saturday night? And you just totally missed the fact that you was in the arms of another.
Yeah.
Like, you was like, I was just here and there.
In the arms of another.
Arms of another. But that's it. But yeah, I do want to get on like work friends though too. Like I definitely, I don't know about you, but I definitely have work friends. But it's crazy because like I just started a new job recently, and this new job is the same company but a different place, and I have two different experiences from my coworkers. Whereas the last job, they were more friendlier, and they wanted to do more stuff outside of work. So it was like, and it was weird because it was my first time like being in a company where like the senior management, they wanted to hang out with us outside of work. So they like from the top, like they like, oh, let's go to the casino. Let's go to here. Like they wanted to hang out all the time. And I thought it was cute, but it was a lot, because it's like I just really enjoyed them at work, and I didn't really I just wanted to stay like that. This place right here, I work at now, I love how everybody are just really nice, but there. They do all the things. We'll talk about all the stuff. We'll laugh. We'll joke. We'll cry. We don't cry, but but actually some people do. Actually, they have. I'm not doing that, but I seen it. Like they'll cry, laugh, joke, or whatever. But everybody go home, and we not going to communicate. On the other job, they made sure that we all had each other's number. They actually, like, every time somebody was new, they'll give us a new list. And so everybody is like have your number. And then sometimes people like that happened to me, like somebody from my old job contacted me recently. It was like, oh, I'm in your neighborhood. Let's chill. And I was like, I'm not home. I was. Guess I'm becoming a liar too now. Well, actually, no, I didn't lie. I said I was heading out her direction.
Yeah, you was lying. You was heading out.
I said I was about to hit. I literally was, but I could have saw her for a second if she was in the neighborhood.
You was down the street.
Because it was going to be, she was down the street, and it was going to be.
Like, black people say they down the street, they miles away.
Probably.
I'm heading out. Probably. You ain't heading out. You about to leave in 3 hours.
If she was in the neighborhood,
you about to leave 2-3 hours later. You ain't about to head out nowhere.
If she was in the neighborhood, like she said, I could have seen her because like I was going a little later, maybe like 30 minutes or 45 minutes later. I was going to go the area she lives at. But I was just like, no, this place is like, like, girl, I got a whole wife. Like, why, it's kind of different. Like, it's another thing too. Like, when you're taken and having like friendships with like, the opposite sex, that's another situation too. It's another story. Yeah. I actually like having like, friend girls. Because, I feel like because like honesty is the case. I feel like since women lean more towards the emotional side, a lot of times I feel like you'll know how they feel more so than like your guy, your people, guy friends, whatever. Because sometimes you don't know till with guys like they'll just be like, oh, okay, when they do, and they'll come up later somehow, like because it's like accumulate or whatever. Sometimes with guys, because they'll sometimes they don't really. A lot of guys, I would say, don't really like to express how they feel about certain stuff.
It's forbidden
until they fed up, and then at that point, who knows? You might be fighting. I don't.
And men, as a guy, you can't be honest. No one cares about men's feelings like that. So we normally just have to suck it up and be a man about it. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear you crying and all this other stuff. That that's what society normally says about us. We can't. Especially to women, you can't really do that because they're supposed to be the emotional one and you're supposed to be shut up and just tough it up and be there for her. It's kind of like, so, when you're around, if you're around a lot of women, it may be a breath of fresh air for something like you said with you. It's like, oh yeah, I like that because now you hear the emotional, they tell you everything, it's like with guys, it's kind of, you're not going to get all of that because we're kind of brought up to not be emotional at all, be stoic, be the rock and all this other stuff. And so, as being a guy and being a friend as to a guy, it's like we gotta be the rock and be like, hey man, toughen up, and it works, it does work a lot of times because it gets that person past that trial. But then you might still be damaged at the end. You might need to release or something like that. But it does get you through the initial breakup or whatever it is initially. When you have that male person, hey man, stop, get up, fix yourself up, and you still got to go to work. You still got to provide. You still got to be responsible. You still got, and you got, yeah, you're right. I got to do all this stuff. I got to get back to So that's why it's that way with men friends, and it's not. I mean, you might have some friends that are men that kind of might be like, "Hey man, you okay?" But that's why it's that way with when men versus female lesbian friends. The only difference is a little bit nowadays might be a little bit dangerous for you to have female friends because accusations and things that could come from you assume that is your friend, and they may be like, oh, he's getting a little too friendly, or there'd be some scenarios of they got the T app and things like that. You just might be considered whatever you might consider you could do with guys, you can't always do with women. You can't speak like they say locker room talk. You can't be that way. So there's a lot of that stuff that may come off if your women friend might be like, you're not like that with me because there's just certain things you can always just say and be open with around guys versus being around women. It can be offensive. It can be taken the wrong way. We joke around. We're physical. Like we might be wrestling around, and some of the stuff I was telling my sister, like the stuff that y'all see from a female's lens, we don't see as male. Like for us, like if somebody touched you, you know what I'm saying? We would love that, physical touch from a female. Like, oh, we like that. But if we went and did that, the stuff that we would like to a woman, they'd be like, hey, what do you do? It's a different thing because we see it from a perspective of we never get that. So when guys come up and they say, oh, you're beautiful, and we never get that in reverse. There's not a lot of women coming up to guys saying things like that. So the perspective is always different. So the stuff that you see guys doing to you is from a female's lens. Like, y'all don't see that. We never get that. Y'all may get it so much that it's like, it's annoying. Don't touch me, get away from me. But guys don't get it at all to the point where you're like, hey, can somebody say I'm, handsome or something like that? So when it happens, sometimes it can be innocent. Now, if someone's just being very, very rude about it, and they're being very disrespectful by like touching you in places you don't want to be touched, or they're saying things to you was like very offensive, you shouldn't be saying it to anybody, then that's something different. What I was saying with you, one of the things I wanted to bring up was like I think we talked about it before. I don't never want to be a best friend. I hate being, I don't want to be nobody's best friend.
You won't.
That's what I want. I don't never want. There's people that be like,
worries.
hey, let's hang out. At work. Like I said, but there's a perspective that people that know you a lot have that strangers don't have. Like people will be like, you're they have more complimentary stuff to say about you. You be like, because nobody, you're regular, like, because they've known you so long, they all have these structured, this person is this, that's it. And so it's harder to kind of have like a different experience with people that that know you, because they'll always think like, oh, he's stupid or whatever. That's just locked in their brain. You know what I'm saying? Nothing you can do is locked in. You're dumb. That's basically how they look at you in your brain. But then if you go somewhere else, like, man, I ain't never heard. That's a good idea. Hey, y'all, come over here. You get that. That's the other thing that you get from the coworkers that you don't get from people that you know. They don't, they don't have the perspective of what those people in your regular life have. They kind of like, oh yeah, man, yeah. So there's people that you only know in your life that no one else knows, like your family and everybody, like that's your coworkers and stuff, people you work with. And then there's people that you know that is friends of the family and everybody knows. And then there's like your best friends and stuff like that. But those people that are like outside, it's just in your little world, they may think like differently to you. Like to see you like interacting with them, you'd be like kind of like seeing a different person. Like, hey, I forgot, it was like on TV where it's like they'll see a person, it's like, oh, they're in the, like, he's cool, like, yeah, he's cool, like, who is this guy? That ain't basically that's what it is. Like, you can go to work and everybody thinks you're the smartest and the coolest. You go home, man, you're an idiot, you know what I'm saying? But to get back to the don't want to be anybody's best friend, because best friends have a level of responsibility that other friends don't have. To be someone's best friend, you got to be there. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, you see the text situation when you got the check marks and they, you don't respond during distress or something. They're flat on the side of the road or something like that, and they call you, you're the best friend. You can't be like, oh, I can't do it. Especially if you can do it and they kind of know that you could have did it and you didn't do it. Or you're not there for them in certain situations. They invite you to a wedding or something like that and you don't show up or get a gift or give the speech or something. That stuff can change your entire friendship just because they looked at you as higher than everybody else that they're friends with. You're the best friend. You can't operate freely. Like, there's some people in your friend circle, you don't care where they're at. Like, you don't care if they're, you're like, I don't care. I ain't hear from that guy in forever. And then just some random day here in the month. Hey man, what are you doing? Oh no, you want to hang out? Okay, let's hang out. But you don't care if you don't see him for a couple days or probably half of the year. But he's still considered your friend. But your best friend, you probably talk to that person like at least once a week or throughout the week. That responsibility is just, to me, I don't want that responsibility. I like to be if I died, you never know until you see the obituary. That's me.
That's what's best. I do feel like when you get older, I don't, especially as men, I don't really tend to hear men introduce another man. Like, they be like, this is my bro or whatever, but I don't really hear as much like, this is my best friend. Like, I mean, I know it happens, but I just feel like the older you get, I feel like that term kind of is not used as much. In the man category, I feel like I may hear that with the women a little bit more. Well, across the board, across all the ages. But I do agree. I feel differently about the best friend thing. Like, I feel like, but I guess it's kind of the same. Where it's like when you give somebody that title, they have expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got to be the first, the for everything. They got to have the most. They got to, And I was talking to another friend about this recently because one thing that my wife and I we share in common is that we don't really like to be in people's weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
like, you don't like to be invited to the wedding?
No, like in the wedding party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best man type.
Yeah, the groomsman, bridesmaid, whatever. Because ill. And so, but back in the day, like, say for example, because back in the day we was like super tight.
Mm.
So imagine, like, back in the day, if you were to have got married early, like some of your siblings, around that time, and I wasn't like a groomsman or the best man, like, I would feel some type of way because of like, you ain't cool with nobody unless you like, just have your family, and I would understand and respect it. But if it's like some rando person that I don't know.
This is my guy from my job. We just started working together.
If it was what's a white guy, Killer Mike? It was you.
Killer.
If you had Mike as your best man back in the day, but now it's like it's literally like I have a friend who got married not too long ago, and him and I we had formed a friendship. Later on in my life, whatever, and we traveled, we did all the things together. Then he started dating seriously, he got engaged, was about to get married, so he had to, form the wedding party. I literally had a conversation with him. This is how bad I don't really have to be in people's weddings. And I was like, bro, I know I came a lot later in your life, and I know you had a whole bunch of friends before you became friends with me. I don't have to be in this wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who would even have a conversation like this with somebody, but that's how passionate I feel now. Because like I know before I used to feel like I need to have a place, but now it's like I don't feel that way. Like because I used to feel like if I was important to you, I need to be. I used to need to celebrate with you in a certain way, and now it's like I just don't feel that way anymore. Like I just want to be there, because sometimes it's like if somebody is having like a baby or marriage or whatever, like if you're friends with them, just support them. You don't have to have a title or a level to, because at that point it's about you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not about me. I don't need. But before I used to require that, so I feel like that is what's changed as I got older. Like now, I don't really need to be in somebody's wedding, but as far as like all the supporting factors, if you need somebody to help decorate or whatever, like I'll do all the support, but I don't really need to be in it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think the thing that's different between you and I when it comes to like people, like I think that for me, I noticed that there were like a lot of things that I needed to change my personality when I was younger to now. And it took people, like, to be honest, like, your family, like, it was like a very good, y'all, to be honest, I'm gonna give your whole family flowers because, like, it was a couple of things. Like, when I was growing up, I didn't have what y'all had. Like, I have a brother and a sister, but they like 7, 8 years older than me. So it was like I was like by myself, similar to like your younger brother, I guess, like, because he didn't have the same interaction with y'all. that y'all had with each other, the older siblings, because y'all was more closer to each other's age. And so for me, I didn't have nobody. And I went to a religious institution where I'm like the youngest person. Everybody there at the time when I was growing up was like 100,000 years old and up. Yeah. It was like the ancients. It's ancients. And so back in the day, you know, when we were kids, like it's different now, but back in the day, they'll always be like, stay out of grown folks' conversations. So it's like I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even carry a conversation with people. It was like, so it's like you're totally, you know, just overlooked because it's like you can't interact with your siblings. You know, the other place you be at all the time is like the religious place you go to, and everybody there is older. There was nobody my age. I stayed in the hood, so you know sometimes like your parents are really, you know, particular who you hang out with in the hood. My brother, he had a lot of enemies in the hood at the time, so it was hard to make friends in the neighborhood because some of them were just they were enemies. Like I got in some fights just because who I was, you know, related to, because they were trying to get back at my brother, but for some reason he was like a ninja. They could never find him, but they always could find me. And so like, well, you know, just get this little brother right there, get on. You know? So yeah, I've been through a lot, but you know, but as far as like character things I needed to fix, like when I met y'all, like all y'all was around my age, and so it was my first time like kind of like navigating friendships and also navigating things you know that you need to learn about yourself, becoming friends with people. So I saw a lot of things I need to kind of change, and that's that small part that I would take from then to now, where I do feel like there are certain things that we kind of need somebody in our life to kind of help us to grow and help us to maybe make some tweaks and changes. And so that's what kind of how I utilize friendships now or relationships with people, where it's like, because I always feel like mentoring is good. Like even if you're not like friends with this person, but they're a good like mentor. I just feel like it's always good to have a true reflection of who you are and what you need to do to improve. There's certain people that saw things in me that I didn't see in myself, and they like, you know, try to pull those things out, you know, because they can see, you know, more. And so I do feel like now, I think that's kind of like why I always kind of had a value on friendships, because like I always learned something about myself that I use to improve. And I just feel like, you know, there's a balance that you need to have. There's some boundaries that people don't really set. But I do think I think it has some importance. I think it's important still to continue to have friends in your life, or at least people who are good people who are going to help you to improve and grow, and not really have people around you that's going to drag you down. And I feel like, I think things change when you get older, where it's like you're more strategic when it comes to friends. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
I need the people that's going to drag me down. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. You know what I mean? No, that's the real though. In order to grow, you need people that's going to drag you down.
Okay, write the books. I need to understand what you
know. That's the title of the book. You know,
get dragged.
Get dragged. Well, no, that might go. Don't get dragged. No. No, but no, because you know, I think they mean well. Everybody means well, but okay. I just think it's that, you know, you have too many people that's too encouraging. You don't really grow from that. You feel satisfied in what you are. I mean, that's your reaction is like, you know, what everybody is in society. It's people like to hear flattering things, you know, complimentary things to themselves. No one likes to be told the unflattering thing about themselves. So what we get is people that walk around feeling as though they're, you know, amazing how they are, and it's like that's not true. Like you need to work on this. You got this wrong with you. Yeah, I'm saying, but that's where you're getting dragged in the sense of like people are telling you the truth. Most of the people growing up, even I'm guilty. I'm guilty of, you know, doing it with my daughter. I'm not telling her the truth 100%, but I'm, you know, oh, that looks amazing. You know, hey, what about these outfit I picked out? Oh, that's cute or whatever it is. But yeah, I can take the truth. Because I think that, you know, for me, like the reason why I think I could take the truth is because, like, for instance, at work, like I said, we known each other for so long that I'm locked in somewhere in your mind as a certain thing. But like, I don't know. No. I'm just saying, but like when I go to work, there'd be people coming in, hey, how you doing? I don't say it back.
No, I'm sure.
I don't try to greet myself to everybody. And that you'll hear somebody I do talk to, hey man, uncle. I'm like, you know, I'm not being like, people will take that offensively, but I really don't care how that person perceives me. I haven't done anything to them. Now I know that all this sounds crazy to everybody, that if someone says this, you got to say it back. Now, but for me, I'm doing that knowing that people may have that perception of me. I don't really care because I haven't said anything. I haven't done anything to that person. So if you created a person in your mind of who I am because I didn't react to how you interacted with me, then so what? I don't care. But I know that's comes off negative to people. So but then when people do actually interact with me, if they need help or something, I come over, hey, how you doing? Hey, and I don't say how you doing, but I'll be like, you needed something? Yeah, I needed this. And I'm over helping. I'm like, hey, okay, I just got to give you information. But they're like, this stuff is like spilt all over the place. I get off. I don't have to. I could just drive away. But I just I get off. I help them up with stuff and be like, oh, appreciate that. No problem. I leave. Now, over time, they be like, yo, he actually ain't that bad of a person. Like, just because I'm not flattering you by doing what you think I should do with you. Because most of those people that would do the thing that I don't do, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, and they're smiling and all that stuff. They most likely are going to go behind your back and talk about you. Not everybody, but a lot of these people do that. They'll talk about you behind your back. They'll say some negative stuff. And these people are doing not what I'm doing. They're doing the, hey, how you doing? You okay today? And then they will say some crazy stuff behind your back. You would never know. You'll be walking around thinking this person's the sweetest person in the world. But if you only knew when you leave those rooms, how people are interacting with the same people that are saying good morning and how you doing and all this nice stuff to you, they're some of the fakest people in the world. And so for me, I live with, I don't really care if you don't like me. You have no opinion. I have done nothing to you. But if that's your opinion that you've created because I didn't give you the thing that you thought I should give you, but there's people walking around that is giving you that stuff and being worse than I am. I haven't done anything. You don't know me. So if you accept that, then I ain't got nothing for you. You're accepting of people that are naturally walking up to you, lying to your face, and then walking behind your back and stabbing you in it. But you don't like a person that probably doesn't conform to the thing that you normally get from those type of people. So I don't care. You know, that's how I walk around. Like the people that know me, whatever, they have their opinions. But the people that don't know me, they're seeing how I interact with people, and then, you know, over time, like, no, he don't ever dap nobody up, but he's like genuine. Like he'll come over there and help. He'll say he says what he has to say to you. He's not really trying to sugarcoat anything. And I'm not being rude when I'm saying any of this. I never said any, like, shut up. I never say, hey, someone say good morning to me. I was like, get out of here. I don't do that. I just don't always reciprocate what they're doing. Now, if someone put their hand out to dap me, I'm dapping them. But I'm not a dapper. I'm not a person that's going to shake your hand. I don't, because I just feel like some of the stuff that we do in society, these people that do these certain gestures don't really mean anything. It's just a way to kind of seem non-threatening, but really these people can be the most threatening because you have a perception of them that they're not showing you, and they're probably going behind your back, telling on you and treating, making you look like a certain thing when you're not around. And so, but, so for me, I think that as far as dragging people down, I think friends should be the most honest. And if you can't accept people for being honest and they really have your best interest at heart, and you can't accept that, then that's a problem there, because you're so used to hearing people tell you the thing that you needed to hear, and you reject the truth. And these people like you, like they're genuinely showing up for you when you need them and stuff like that. But they're telling you the truth, but you don't want to hear that. And it's not about just bashing a person just to tear their self-esteem down. It's just to try to build them up in a sense of like, you probably didn't hear this because everybody's telling you something else. I'm going to be honest with you because I'm your friend. This is this. I don't like that, so I'm going to go somewhere where you hear somebody tell you something that's maybe a lie. Mm-hmm. And that's what most people do. So for me, I don't always accept the fact that, just because you're a certain way, that means, like, I don't think you should just, that's all you do as a friend is drag someone down. But I do feel like it is an important component to being someone's friend is to giving the truth to the person that you care about. You shouldn't always just be, flattering everybody with, kindness and stuff like that, because I don't feel like you grow from that. Sometimes there's stuff that you need to fix. You'll never know because people are always doing that. Mm-hmm. And you will never know that maybe you need to stop doing this. Maybe that personality thing, that person, you need to stop being nice to that person because that person is really just using you. But you'll never be the best friend because of that. You'll never be the person someone calls on for that because they're like, oh, he's always negative. Well, I'm saying we're friends for a reason, but I also feel like, sometimes you need the negative. I'm not trying to be negative to try to just degrade you, but I'm just trying to get you to see the truth because sometimes you're blinded because you like people so much. You want to see the best in people all the time. And sometimes not everybody does that in reverse. So to me, I feel like it's important to have as a friend. Well,
I hope you get dragged.
you drag
I think that's,
you can't just leave it at that. You gotta be
just drag the dude out there. Just get dragged. I wish that for you to just be just across the way. Just
okay.
Yeah.
But that'll
I think we should stop it here, right?
Yeah,
we gonna say it before that though.
No, that was it.
You was gonna finish. So you would have more about you. How much you want to be dragged?
I
didn't know you felt so passionate about being dragged.
I didn't say me being dragged.
I didn't know that it was important to you.
I don't have anybody. I don't create a new. And there's no other. My circle isn't getting any bigger. It's gonna be about the same as it is now.
Whoever drags you will have to be part of your circle currently.
No, I think that everybody in my circle is very
Words carefully now.
Oh, I'm trying to think of the word. The uplifting.
Oh,
unfortunate.
Lifted yesterday. You know why?
I didn't say it wasn't me.
It wasn't you, but it's part of your circle.
It wasn't me.
I was dragged. Yesterday.
Hey man, it wasn't me. I was there, but it wasn't me.
God.
I don't always.
I want you this time.
I don't think everything needs to be said all at once, neither. But yeah, that'll be it for today. You know what I mean? Hopefully, y'all like this type of content we've been putting out. Hopefully, you continue to support and like and subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, you made it this far in the video because a lot of people probably might not make it this far. But since you did, give us a thumbs up or a subscription or something. You know what I mean? So we can see how much you appreciate the information that's coming from our podcast.
I agree, and then stay tuned for all of these skits that we working on 17 skits at once.
17.
It feel like it. Yeah. We working on multiple ones at the same time.
We're working on some stuff, some other stuff to kind of add to the, the entertainment aspect of it. You know what I mean? Some people like podcasts, some people like other stuff. So we're going to try to do some other things. So stay tuned for some new stuff. And hey, we'll catch you next time, on Mike's podcast.
Like to be dragged, huh?
That is funny. I don't know what you did.
That is funny.
That's the truth, though. I like it. Was I wrong? I might be wrong. I don't know.
Depends on how somebody see it, though. Because, like I was saying, you kind of want.